I remember in elementary school, they taught us every noun in English is either concrete or abstract. So stuff like rocks or like concrete because they're just some physical object that's like on the ground that you can see, touch, taste, hear, or smell. For some reason, they always bring up the five senses when they talk about this, but like having detectability, I guess, through the five senses makes something more concrete. So a car and a dog are very similar. And then on the other side, they say like dreams are very abstract. But when I was sitting there listening to them say this, I was like, naturally, I was like, dreams are like not just like a purely fictitious thing, right? They are actually just like physical movements of things in your brain, right? So it's like not really um, purely abstract, although I will admit dream is very abstract. But something maybe more in the middle is like time. Like time is like a fact of the universe, right? It's like a thing that's actually existing. It's not like a concept or a social like idea, right? If humans weren't here, there would still be time. But it's not as concrete as a rock, of course, because it's not a thing that you can touch, see, smell, taste, or hear, I guess. So I suppose it is more in the middle here. And anyways, I was just like, fire is also a good one, right? Like fire would be somewhere probably around here-ish. Because at first you think fire is definitely like a concrete thing. Because I can see it, I can smell it even. Anyway, but like it's like a thing that's on the ground. It has its position. It has you can remove it. You can do stuff like that. But a fire is like not a physical block of matter, right? It is just a chemical reaction. It's just the light and the heat that you see um, from a chemical reaction. So it's kind of like an illusion of a thing that is there, but it's not actually a piece of matter. It's not like plasma, which is actually matter. So it's different. Well, anyways, I was like, there's a lot of things that are not exactly concrete or abstract. And the more I thought about them, it was like I should make a list out of all of these things. I think in later on in like high schoolish, I started making like an official list of things I thought could span the spectrum from concrete to abstract. And the point of this project was just to show like it's not just concrete versus abstract, like this binary, dichotomy, but like there's a huge spectrum of things that are in between that. And I just added more recently, and I added a scale, which is very helpful for showing, specifically the more concrete things are up here, abstract things are down here. I didn't know where to put qualia. That was kind of funny, but I included a lot more random things and more random things. And I just kind of brainstormed these things, right? Like they're just like I want to think about these different ways in which an object can be not just concrete or abstract. So over here in the top right, there's this series of nouns that are like they're based on the idea of like like being ontologically parasitical. Like a whole requires a thing to be in. Like you can't have like a whole just on its own. It has to be inside of like another thing. So it's like parasitical in that way, where it's like, it depends on something else. And also the whole itself is kind of sketchy because like, are we talking about the region where there's supposed to be stuff, but there's no stuff? Or are we talking about like, I don't know, the curvature of the like dent, I guess? Or like what is the whole? Like what is a whole exactly? It is a lack of stuff. So is it the concept of lacking stuff? If so, then it's definitely abstract. But like I would say the whole, when you say that word, like you're referring to it's as though there's a thing called a whole that's like on the object or in the object. So it's treated as concrete. But of course it's not a thing that you can touch. I mean you could touch like it's like weird anyway. So that's the whole idea here. You have a bunch of gaps. Whole whole idea. Yeah, so this is the whole idea section, and you have the ripple, wrinkle. Like these are also things that require a thing to be in for them to exist. Whereas, other stuff is like plays off a different thing. So flint and steel, um, this is like a disjoint object, right? So they are made of two solid objects, but they aren't put together as one. I could easily just throw out the flint somewhere else and now it's just a flint over there, and there's a steel over here. So what happened to the flint and steel? Like, how close do they have to be for it to be a flint and steel? I don't know. More ontology stuff. And I was like, math is also kind of abstract, but it's like based in real stuff, and it's like objective, and it's like it exists in a sense that like people agree on math, right? It's not like because it's kind of inherent. You would expect like aliens to also pick up on, you know, unit circle and even monster group. Like they would know what that is. It's not because like we taught them, right? It's not like a societal thing. Like for example, I guess trust. I mean, like trust is kind of more like math, but like I could see an alien civilization not knowing what debt is. They just don't have a concept of debt, I guess. So yeah, and then I added even more things because yeah, I had to make it dark because I had to remove these like highlight rectangles which are taking up too much space. But this is 150 words, and I still don't know where qualia goes on this thing, but I put a bunch of different categories of things, like, and the categories are based on one, like what way does it not fit the traditional definition of concrete versus abstract, and two, just like what domain it's from, right? So we have some more sociological things over here. Groups is also like groups of things are also interesting because like FC Barcelona is a group of like people, and also just kind of even the abstract things, like it's like a group of concrete and abstract stuff. So what is that? I don't know, somewhere near the middle, I guess. And I made it so I can copy paste it and put it into a big list down here. Well, this is the list, and then I added a lot more stuff afterward. I didn't actually rank this because it takes so long, but it's like these are also good ones. Like yeah, these are the new ones. So like, is the great attractor, like, which is in space, but it's not like one continuous physical thing. I mean, it depends on how you define continuous, because an atom itself is not continuous, right? There's like space inside of the atom, but not really space because there's an electron cloud. But like if you want to say electron cloud is like part of the region that atom is in, like that's the whole like universe almost. Anyway, so it's kind of like this is probably concrete though overall. Gen Z is probably abstract though, even though it does refer to like a group of people. It probably still is an abstract thing, because if we just didn't name it Gen Z, would there be Gen Z? I guess there would be, I suppose, but debatable. A lot of these things are debatable, and that's kind of why I kind of didn't take this too seriously. Like you would see, like if you list these out, for example, if I copy paste this here, it's very nice because Google Slides lets you put in the correct order, so I clearly did already. Pacific Ocean next to flint and steel is kind of funny, but if you go down here, it's even more whack because you have like genus next to min heap. Like, okay, it's kind of hard to visualize, like, okay, why are these two things next to each other? I mean, I kind of just put them together. When I was putting it, of course, I put genus next to species because like a genus is a more abstract, like it's a larger group than a species. And you think of a species, you think more you have a better idea in mind, but genus seems more like a abstract taxonomy, right? So it's different. But for whatever reason, I guess over here I had some other stuff, and it became next to like some random stuff from a different domain, and that kind of makes it kind of funny. So there's some inherent like humor, like you're trying to compress all of the universe into this one-dimensional line. And before it was a dichotomy, and honestly, maybe the dichotomy was like a nicer way of categorizing these things, because at least you have like, I don't know, like a partition and like two groups. It's kind of cleaner. But when you have this line, then you inevitably have to have things like close to each other on the line. And it's like, why is heartbeat close to wind? Well, this is fine, I guess. It's like, I can kind of see the connection here. Like heartbeat, it's a slight, like more complex way of describing the pattern of the heart's movements. And wind is also sort of like a similar, like an abstraction over movement of air, but they're like being treated as concrete things, so they're up here. Yeah, and spatial dimensions next to C++. Okay, sure. This is a language, not a thing that you can find lying somewhere. Spatial dimensions is actually one of my favorite ones on this list. High key. I actually put it very close to the middle of the list, and this is the most interesting part, right? Like you can get like all funny about like, oh, Reinhard Cardinal, like luck, fate at the most abstract end, but like the most interesting part to me, of course, it still is the most interesting part to me, the middle of the spectrum. Like what is like really on the fence, right? What is really straddling the line, if you want to draw a line somewhere. In spatial dimension is like similar to time. Why is time more concrete than spatial dimension? Well, I guess like time is more like you can have time, but I can't have another spatial dimension. Well, I can't. I don't know if you can, but I don't know. The spatial dimension is again like a feature of the world, of the universe. It is there. You can't like say like there's no third dimension. It's not like a societal teaching or something. It's just there, like indisputably. But it's not a thing that you can toss around. You can't put it inside of your bag. I guess you could, but like metaphorically. So it's also kind of abstract. Like if humans weren't here, would there be 3 dimensions? Yes. You wouldn't have a name for the third one, I guess, or the second one, or the first one. It would be there though. Maybe it's more concrete than I think. It just doesn't feel concrete because it's not made of atoms, right? Like a lot of the things that are made of matter are like more indisputably concrete stuff. So yeah, that's just kind of where this project was going, and I'll make a part 2 where I analyze this stuff using machine learning models and see like how they get tokenized and stuff, visualize the space where they get tokenized. So understanding how AIs understanding how they understand concrete versus abstract, how they rank these things, and then comparing different AIs now, seeing which words are more concrete or abstract, according to the the LLM consensus out there right now. But I guess this is where I'll leave it today because this is getting surprisingly long very fast, I guess. So, yeah.